there she is.
Hi.
Hi. I'm so glad we made it. And that was pretty decent because I did one live without you. Like as in I was trying to get you on. And then I was like, okay, I'll message you and thank God you're here. So
Yes. Thanks
that's
for having me.
no, absolutely. And thanks for joining. I'm really excited about this conversation today, and especially the kind of stuff that you're doing. Uh,
Yes, I'm very excited to share.
Yeah, I'm super excited to listen because, I think it's like a lot of us struggle with the exact same things. And I think it's fantastic that, you're really a trailblazer, as I would like to say. So
Oh
I'm
my
really,
gosh, wow, thank you.
no, it's true. As, vegans and vegetarians, we all struggle with fitness and you know, lifting and everything. So I think what you're doing is awesome. Can you hear me still? Oh, I lost you. Brooke, are you there? Brooke, are you there? Okay, guys, I don't know if I'm stuck or if it's her, but please do wave or something. My screens are moving. Can you hear me, Brooke? Ah. So guys, we still got a couple of minutes before the live. Oh, okay. She's here. Brooke is here. We're gonna start in like 2 minutes, and we were just doing a quick test. Okay, there she is.
Weird. But I'm here now.
Good, I'm glad. This is why we have to do the test before, right? Just to get this sorted.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't done Instagram Live in probably like a year. It's always a little finicky, but yeah, I'm ready. Let's do
It
it.
is. It is. Okay. So, guys, it's just 1 minute to we're going to launch, So, this is Brooke Sellers. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. She is a trailblazer. She's won Miss Knox. She's also won 2025, right? For overall, in the overall category. And she's, a cook, a coach. What else? She's completely plant-based, vegan. She's vegan. And she comes up with amazing things like protein cupcakes, which I'm super excited to delve into a bit later. But welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm really honored to have you here. And we're very excited, guys. If any of you have any questions, put it into the chat. We will ask Brooke to respond. So please introduce
Yes.
yourself or tell us how you started on the journey.
Yes. So, I first got into fitness before I got into being vegan and being plant-based. So I started my fitness journey when I was about 20 years old. I was in college. I was overweight most of my life. I was bullied in school. In middle school, everyone called me the fat girl. That was my nickname. It was like torture all the way through middle school, high school. And I really struggled with my body image, my health. I had asthma. And I just eventually got to a place when I was in college where I was just really fed up. I was like finding that I was buying like an extra large in my clothes and then
Yeah.
a double XL. And I just got to the place where I was like, enough is enough. Like it's time for a change.
Yeah.
So it was actually like on my birthday, I decided to go sign up for the gym. And I just immediately like fell in love. It was just like my happy place.
Yeah.
I love the gym. And so I started embarking on this journey of how can I be healthier? How can I be the best version of myself? And that's when I stumbled upon the documentary What the Health on Netflix. And
Nice.
I had no idea it was going to be about veganism,
Yeah.
about being plant-based. No idea. I just saw the title and I'm like, this sounds like something I would like.
Yeah.
And it totally turned my world upside down. I went down this rabbit hole, then watched Dominion, all the documentaries,
Yeah.
read all the books, and I just was like, all right, like this is something that I can't forget. I can't just act
Unseen.
like all
Yeah,
of
you,
this is
yeah,
not happening, you know?
correct.
So I have to change. And I literally went vegan overnight, I guess you could say cold tofu. And
That was fine.
yeah, it's been my whole world since then, my whole business, everything.
I love that. I love that because you sort of really transformed your life. You said enough is enough, and we're going to transform it, and you just did it, right? You sort of took the bull by the horn, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that is fantastic. So let's like sort of start getting a little bit more into into specifics and into more details as well, right? So your mission is obviously to help women lift heavy, build curves, and be unstoppable. Why is it weight training is so important for all of us women?
Weight training is so important because it makes you stronger. And that is so important for women as we age.
Correct.
It's important for self defense, it's
Yeah.
important for our empowerment. It's for so many reasons, strength training is life changing for women. So, you know, as we get older, we start to lose muscle naturally. It's just a natural part of the aging process. So we can combat that by strength training. We can fight osteoporosis, which unfortunately afflicts many women later in life with strength training. We can better defend ourselves and if we are strong and we build our endurance. And I also think it's important because I know for me, um, becoming strong is really what helped me not focus so much on my body and like how I looked
Mm,
because I was having so much fun in the gym.
correct.
And even now, like I'm going through a phase where I'm trying to build muscle. I'm not quite as lean. I'm, you know, sitting closer to like 23-25% body fat. But I have so much fun in the gym because every week I go in and I lift heavier and it's like a game almost, you know, like how hard can I push myself this week? So I think strength training really just changes the game for a lot of women. Not only does it benefit your health and empowers you, but it also teaches you that your body is more than just its aesthetic. It's also
Correct.
like a powerhouse. It's you know, strong and you can do so much with it. You can lift, you can run, you can climb, you know, whatever. So I think for so many reasons, women should be strength training.
I absolutely agree. I actually went through something like horrific personally from 2020 to 2024, and I landed up gaining 30 pounds, which I then gone on to lose over the last year. And I thought this was really awesome because I incorporated strength training and it just changed my body. But you know, Brooke, just when we were talking about that strength training and how important it is for women, what is the balance and how do you make sure that you still sort of can get lean and strength training doesn't bulk you up? Like there is a balance. How what is that ratio? Because I struggle with that sometimes. So sometimes I go lean and then I'm strength training and then I get almost more bulky and it doesn't my brain can't understand it.
Yeah, so the big part of that is the food. That's your
Mm,
nutrition.
mm,
So if you eat in a calorie surplus, if you eat
mm.
more calories than your body needs while
Okay.
you strength train, you will put on muscle, but you will also put on body fat. So
Right.
that is really the key. If you eat in a calorie deficit or eat around maintenance, then you will build muscle, but you will lose body fat and do what kind of what's called a body recomposition. So it's
Ah,
really all about marrying your nutrition with your strength training. Strength training is great. It's really hard to get too bulky, but often what happens with women is if they're feeling bulky and they're unhappy with their appearance, it's usually because their calories are too high. They're just eating a little
yes.
bit too much. So it's like you got to have like your nutrition
That
really dialed
explains the
in.
extra chocolate that I've been eating.
Yep, yep, girlfriend. I know. I mean, That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part because it's easy. I won't say it's easy, but it's easier to show up to the gym or do your home workout for an hour a few times a week, 3 to 4 times a week, than it is to control your nutrition
Yeah.
24/7. A
Yes.
lot harder. Yeah.
Yes, correct. And I guess that's where your mindset sort of comes in, which also builds as you strength train. I mean, I've noticed that my mind has gotten much stronger, right?
Yes, definitely. Because, it's like a fitness journey. That's what I love about fitness is that it builds character, it builds resilience, it builds
True.
perseverance. So
True.
it's so much more than just building your muscles. It's like you're a total beginner. You're probably a little bit scared going into the gym for the first time or picking up your weights. And then eventually after a while, it's, just like kind of driving a car. When you first start, it's scary, it's different, you're kind of intimidated by the whole thing, but then eventually it's just natural. You don't even think about it. And eventually weight training is the same way. So I feel like that's really empowering as well and just really helps you build like self-efficacy and believe in yourself. Seeing yourself being able to do something that you previously didn't think you could is a whole nother, form of empowerment for women.
I agree. I agree. And Michael, I'm going to get to your question. I see you. I see your questions, and I'm going to get to it in a minute. Um, so we spoke about the balance and we spoke about mindset. What about protein? Because also before we even go there, there's different age groups for people, right? There's a younger person who probably doesn't need to strength train that much, or there's an older person who is sort of perimenopausal or postmenopausal, and then that level of training changes. What is how does somebody how can somebody understand what is like the different levels of training that the body needs? I understand your surplus and deficit on calorie. That sort of now makes sense. But how would a woman navigate that age change, hormonal change, and the balance between strength conditioning and still having enough protein and calorie intake?
Yes. So I would say, first of all, I think investing in a coach is one of the best things that you can do because truly everyone is in a different position in
Correct.
life, in experience.
Correct.
Some of us have chronic conditions, some of us have injuries. So I think having a personalized plan is absolutely 100% the best way to go. But some just very like general, generic advice
Yeah.
as we get older, there is more of an emphasis on recovery. So
Yeah.
I have consults with women every single week, and they're frustrated because what worked for them in their 20s doesn't work for them in their late 30s, their 40s, and
Correct.
their 50s.
Correct.
Why? It's because of recovery. In your 20s, you can starve yourself, you can run, do a bunch of cardio, maybe do some strength training, and you're probably going to recover. You still like, is it optimal? No, but you have a young, vibrant
Box.
body,
Yeah.
full hormones, so you're probably going to recover even if you're under eating and overtraining.
Yeah.
As our body starts to age and those hormones aren't as abundant and our
Mm.
recovery tends to decline because as hormones kind of change, sleep disturbances happen, other
Correct.
things can happen, and that's when you can't really run yourself into the ground anymore. You can't
Yeah.
starve yourself on 1,200 calories. You
No.
can't do a whole bunch of cardio because your body's gonna fight you at that point, and it causes like weight loss resistance. So it's more so as you get older, which is like kind of a weird thing, and it's hard to kind of change women's perspective on how they have to approach their fitness, but it's more so about having like a good balance between pushing hard
Mm.
and rest. Like you
Mm.
do need your recovery days. You can't just go run every single day and beat your body up. You can't strength train every day. And you also have to eat in a way that supports your body because you don't have as much hormones as you did when you were in your 20s, of course, unless you're
Correct.
on HRT. But even if you're on HRT, you still need to give your body the resources it needs to perform. So, like healthy fats, healthy carbs, a healthy amount of protein, like balanced macros. And that is really the game changer for women as they age.
So, Brooke, what you're saying is essentially there should be a calorie tracker as well as knowing the fact are you sort of also getting body fat tests done regularly? Is there an easy way to do that at home?
Yes, there are body calipers. That would be probably the easiest, cheapest way. There are these home scales, but they're not super accurate
Yeah,
because they send an electrical impedance through just your legs.
right.
So a lot of us women, we carry a lot of our weight in our legs
Yeah,
compared to men. So the body fat percentage might read higher on your at-home scale
correct.
than like it actually is because it's only going through your legs.
Right.
So the best, most I would say accurate way would be body calipers. They're probably like $5-10 on Amazon, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, body fat percentage is a little bit more accurate than like going by BMI or something like that.
Okay.
Um, Body fat percentage too, yes, you can decrease your body fat percentage by losing body fat, obviously,
Yeah.
but you also decrease body fat percentage by increasing your lean muscle mass because your body is, your whole body with organs, muscle, bone is
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And so if you add muscle, lean muscle to that body, your body fat percentage automatically goes down.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's and something very interesting to me when I first started coaching and I was young and I first started this business was seeing
Yeah.
women come to me who were very petite, very tiny, but they were reading as like obese on their body
Right.
fat percentage, like 30% body
Wow.
fat, but it's because they didn't have the muscle.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
you can decrease your body fat percentage by losing body fat and by building muscle.
Okay. Let's talk about a bit about food and how to train with food. So, uh, could you maybe sort of take the lead on this rather than me lead you? Because I think it's important for us to understand whether we should be eating before working out or eating later after working out. How much protein should we be consuming? How integral is that? And do we still need to, because it's now become like a little dance, right? You also need to be calorie deficit to make sure you stay lean and not bulk up. Because this is, I struggle with this daily.
Yeah, a lot of people do. It's why I have a business. So. But yeah, so as far as like pre-workout, post-workout nutrition goes, I think it's important to start with what is happening during a workout.
Okay.
So when you're working out, a lot of people think that's when you're building muscle. It's not. It's when you're
Oh,
tearing down the muscle. You are actively destroying tiny little muscle fibers. They're micro tears. You would only see them under a microscope. But when you're doing a bicep curl or a hip thrust, you are tearing that muscle apart.
ah,
But it's a good thing because what happens is when you go home and you eat and you sleep, that muscle is going to repair and the tissue grows back bigger and stronger. It's an adaptation so that your body's smart and it thinks, all right, well, if she's going to do that again, we're going to be ready and we're going to grow a bigger and a stronger muscle for next time. So that's where you want to think about your pre-workout and your post-workout nutrition. So pre-workout, you need enough energy to get through your workout. So that's where you really want to prioritize carbs,
ah,
fruits, rice cakes, potato, oats, cream of rice, any sort of carbohydrate is fine.
okay.
You can do protein as well. That's going to help you help your body pull amino acids during your workout.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of women probably train early in the morning. You could just do a piece of fruit. That's fine. Some
Okay.
toast, whatever. But post workout's really important for the protein. That's really when you need to make sure that you're getting your protein in because remember, that muscle tissue is torn and now you need to give your body the resources it needs to repair it back, kind of like building a house. It's like you're giving the builder the bricks and the cement to build the house. You're giving your body the protein and the amino acids to rebuild that tissue. So like any sort of protein, tofu, a protein shake, anything would be fine post workout.
Okay. All right. Okay. Because I think it's so easy to overeat after you work out because your brain thinks that, oh, I've worked out, so I'm okay, I'll eat or whatever. And then I find myself invariably eating a piece of chocolate after every meal. And I'm like, okay, no wonder I'm not getting lean. I have got muscles now, but the leanness is not there. So I need to get that back. So thank you for that. Let's talk a little bit about protein and protein powders. What I realized is I do this really nice overnight oats and chia. And then when I started, one of my friends said to put some protein powder in it. So I did that, but it's killed my stomach. It was a whey-based protein. I'm vegetarian, so I used a whey-based protein, and it really hurt my stomach. I felt bloated. I was like, what is going on? I just stopped doing that immediately. And then I saw some of your videos. Would you speak can you speak a little bit about what are the right protein powders to consume? And is there any like specific, should we have 15 grams or 20 grams, or how much also do you recommend?
Yeah, so protein powders definitely can be a source of digestive distress for some people for a couple of reasons. Um, Definitely, a lot of people are sensitive to dairy.
Mm.
More people are intolerant to dairy than you would think. And, just because you aren't like diagnosed with lactose intolerance doesn't necessarily mean that it sits well with you. So if you struggle with a dairy protein, I would definitely recommend trying like a pea protein.
Yeah.
That's very easy on the stomach. Now, some of like the cheaper protein powders are usually not third party tested. So
Right.
what that means is there can be anything in that powder and they don't have to put it on the label. So there was like a law back in the 90s in the US, unfortunately, where supplement companies can kind of self-govern themselves. So a supplement company has to pay a third party to test their ingredients to actually prove what's on the label is what's in their product.
Okay.
The supplement companies are not required by law to meet any sort of standard or expectation there.
That's crazy.
So you have to take it upon yourself as the consumer to make sure that you're purchasing a product that is third party tested. So that way, it doesn't have any heavy metals, any sort of lead, any sort of arsenic, any of that, pesticides, herbicides, because those can be found in protein powders. And if you have a sensitive GI system, those things might irritate you.
Mm.
Also, artificial sweeteners like sucralose, for example.
Yeah.
I usually try to stick with like a natural sweetener, like a stevia or a monk fruit, something like that.
Okay.
I will shamelessly plug my sponsored protein.
Yeah.
Veg Nutrition. They are third party tested. They do not use sucralose, they use stevia. They have a wide range of flavors. It's the best protein I've used by far. So you
Okay.
guys can check out Veg if you want a good protein.
Okay. No, that's really helpful. So if I had a question from Michael and said he's 60 years old, works out using kettlebells at home, what kind of breakfast should he be consuming?
Um, I mean, I would say just in general, a healthy, well balanced breakfast.
Which
A
is like
good
the
amount.
carb or the protein, what you suggested earlier, right?
Yeah, so yeah, like I typically like my blueprint for every meal is carb, protein, fat, and I mean for breakfast you're probably looking at some sort of like fruit instead of a veggie, right?
Yeah.
Some sort of like good plant food in there somewhere. So an example could be oats. You've got your carb, with protein powder, that's your protein, then some peanut butter is your fat, and
Mm.
maybe some mixed berries as your fruit. You could do savory and do like a tofu scramble, and then you could throw some veggies in, like zucchini, bell pepper, mushrooms. Have some toast as your carb, and as your fat. Well, the tofu would have some fat, but you could add some avocado. So I would say just a typical, well balanced meal. I mean, honestly, like people overcomplicate nutrition and it's really simple.
Yeah.
It's really just that. Like have a protein, a carb, a fat, and you're good. And some sort of good plant food.
Yeah. Brooke, I really like that idea. My only concern is I'm probably going to be done with the 1,200 calories in the morning.
I hear you, girlfriend, but it's also important to spend time out of a deficit too.
Yeah, I hear you.
So yeah, so for hormone health and yeah, that's currently what I'm doing. I'm taking time out of a deficit to focus on my health. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really like that. I just think I've been out of it for too long. I need to go back into deficit. Okay. I think some of this information has been great. I'm just trying to see supplements. Do you have any thoughts around supplements? What people should be taking? And again, is it age related as well?
Yeah, again, this is something that is so dependent on the person, like blood work and yeah, stage of life. I would say, I guess some of the essentials, vitamin D, even if you get
Yes.
enough sun, there's a lot of people who are still deficient in vitamin D. It's just not something we really get from our food unless it's
Correct.
fortified. I do think it's important to supplement with B12, even if you don't
Yes.
do it every day, maybe once a week. There are
Right.
some foods that are fortified with B12, so you'll just have to check your blood work and, see if you need to supplement. And then, of course, I would say if you're vegan, I would try to supplement with some sort of omegas. If you don't do a lot of flaxseed or chia seed, maybe an algae supplement, something like that. And
Yeah.
typically, like I just use again, Veg Nutrition, the essential multivitamin. It's
Yeah.
got everything in there that you need. So like the selenium, the omegas, B12, magnesium, zinc, everything that you need.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And I think you're right. I think all of us need the omegas and the vitamin D supplements, specifically vitamin D. And as you get older, there's a lot of other stuff as well that you can take, including magnesium and stuff. Um, if we want to feel strong, when you've sort of trained people who are like 67 years old, you've trained people who are like 27 years old. Do you find that there's a huge difference in terms of metabolism as well as training time to get to the desired goal, desired goals with respect to weight?
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Not really. I don't
Mm,
see, like,
nice.
and that is something that really surprised me when I have like all the years that I've been coaching, and I always say like I have learned so much more from experience and from my clients than I ever learned from
Yeah.
college or certifications.
Yeah.
The human body, there's just so many things that you can't understand and you can't necessarily read from a textbook. But yeah, I mean, I've had older women just absolutely shock me with how quickly they build muscle, how quickly they lose fat, just as effective as 20 years old. It's just more so about, are you willing to put in the work and be patient? There are
Yeah.
some people who want a quick result, and it just doesn't. Changing your body, it just takes time.
It
I
takes time.
always try to tell people, like, anytime the body is going through a process, like menopause takes years,
Yeah.
puberty takes years, pregnancy takes, many, many months, almost a year. So
Correct.
anytime the body has to go through a change, it takes time. So as long as you're
Yes.
willing to be patient and be consistent,
Yeah.
then you will get results. Yeah.
Okay, that's really awesome. Guys, if there are any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I will be asking Brooke to answer those questions. We are down to the last 5 minutes. So I'm going to go to, I'm going to sort of do a rapid fire round. Okay, Brooke? So
Yeah.
what that means is you need to go really fast. You cannot think of the answers. Okay?
Okay. No pressure.
Okay, one lift every woman should be doing.
Ooh,
Fast.
deadlifts, I would say.
Nice. Ultimate post workout vegan protein meal.
Ooh, I would say tofu, rice, broccoli,
Mouth watering. Cardio before weights or weights before cardio?
always weights before cardio.
Ah, nice. One supplement worth the money.
Creatine.
One, the biggest vegan fitness myth you want gone forever.
I just think you can't get enough protein on a vegan diet. It's ridiculous.
Yep. And Atlanta food you would never give up from home.
Ooh, a food I would never give up.
Yeah.
Ooh, Such a tough one. I love food. I don't bread. I love bread.
And your favorite junk food?
Ooh, my
Indeed.
favorite junk food.
Yeah.
Mm, I mean, popcorn. I love popcorn. Yeah.
Nice. That's barely junk.
As it really is. I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, I love potato chips too.
Okay, there you go. Sneakers or heels?
Oh, I gotta go with sneakers.
Same. So, before we sign off, if we're sitting here in 2 years, what is it that your vision is for the future? Where do you sort of see vegan fitness going?
Um, I really hope what I would like the vegan community in general, vegan fitness in
Yeah,
general.
yeah,
Okay. What I would really hope is that in 2 years from now that there is a shift in the vegan community where all vegans of all walks of life, raw vegans, whole food, plant-based vegans, junk food vegans, vegan activists, all support each other and lift each other up. I
uh-huh.
think that is the most important thing to me, rather than like, disagreeing on, our little nutritional differences and, maybe how we approach activism.
Yeah,
I would hope that we can all like really support one another and appreciate different forms of activism, even if it's not our method.
correct.
And like we're the minority. We are already fighting so many people. We don't need to fight each other. So
Yes.
I would hope that in 2 years from now we have a lot of harmony and support within the vegan community.
Thank you so much, Brooke. I don't think I could have said it better myself. I feel exactly the same way as you, and I'm here to support the whole community. I'm a vegetarian. I get trolls for being called vegetarian, but
I'm sure.
I call it as it is. But I really appreciate that we're all working in our respective fields to really move forward as a community and help the whole planet. And I think it's important all of us act together as one voice always. So I do really appreciate what you just said. So thank you very much.
Yes, you're so welcome. And, I feel like you're still making a huge impact. Vegetarians matter. They still
Yes.
matter. They're
Yes.
making a
Thank you.
big impact. Yeah.
Thank you. And all our handbags are vegan and they're now available in Nordstrom. And I think that's already saying such a big thing. We're making strides in commercial areas. And I think it's important for all of us to support each other. So absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you
Yes.
so
Love
much.
it.
Yeah.
Of
Thank you.
course. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. This was awesome. Great interview.
It was fantastic. Thank you so much for all your information that you helped so many people on this live. I really appreciate it. Take care.
Yes. Yes. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
Bye.